What's up, Scyushi Squad? We back again with some more Genshin Impact, but today is going to be very important because we've actually got a whole bunch of new details related to the update coming out next week, which is going to be version 1.1. This update is going to be coming out on the 11th, and although we don't have like a full patch notes or anything like that, they did finally end up spilling the beans of this huge post that I am going to put a link in the description of. You guys can end up checking it out for yourselves. That is going to be talking about reputation and exploration progress. Now, I am still working on a starter guide for Genshin, but it's going to be particularly long and I'm still editing it. So I figured that I would end up getting this video out to you guys as quickly as possible so that we could end up going through all of this stuff together. I have read a lot about all of this. Like I kind of skimmed through it. So we'll get to kind of talk about each of the different categories. But again, I'll have a link down below so you guys can check it out for yourselves if you want. Now, in any case, city reputation system is going to be added to the game. There's going to be a brand new system called City Reputation. By interacting with certain NPCs, you will be able to accept requests to complete and increase your reputation. As your reputation increases, you will unlock various reputation rewards. So the criteria for that is you're going to have to be adventure rank 25 or above. Mondstadt reputation, complete the Archon quest. So you'll have to basically beat Storm Terror in order to have it unlocked. Whereas for the Liyue reputation, because it's going to be region locked, you're going to have to complete the Archon quest. Farewell, Archaic Lord. Yeah, so you guys can check those out as you play through the game. You can just end up getting them. I should already have those out of the way as far as I know. After unlocking Liyue reputation, travelers can view their Liyue reputation by talking to the Ministry of Civil Affairs Secretary, Mrs. Yu. So it doesn't mention that what you do for the Mondstadt person, but whatever. So how to increase reputation. Increasing reputation is going to be gotten through region quests. So complete various quests in Mondstadt and Liyue to increase your reputation in each city. World exploration, so opening chests, finding oculi, which is Geoculi, Anemoculi, unlocking waypoints and completing other exploration objectives. Will end up increasing your progress, so that's really nice. Bounties, so hunting down and defeating bounty targets will increase reputation in that city. The list of bounties will be refreshed every Monday, so it's another weekly grind that hopefully isn't locked behind the resin system. Each week you complete up to 3 bounties in total across all cities, so I guess it's kind of the same as doing your daily commissions, but instead it's going to be kind of a weekly commission type of thing. Requests, so completing requests from local residents to increase your reputation in that city. The list of requests will be refreshed every Monday as well. Each week you can complete 3 of them per total. So there's going to be 6 different weekly new missions we'll be able to do. So I guess that's pretty cool. There's also going to be the reputation rewards. So as you increase in reputation level, you unlock gadget blueprints, special city features, name cards, recipes. So you can kind of see here they tease the idea of some name cards and stuff, and more importantly show us some wings, which they do show a little bit later in the post. So that's really cool that we're finally actually getting some different wings. I wonder what our reputation's already going to be at for those of us that have explored most of the map and already gotten all the oculi. But anyways, reward details. So reputation gadgets, so Anemoculus resonance stone and Geoculus resonance stone. So how to obtain blueprints. So reaching reputation level 2 in Mondstadt will unlock the Anemoculus resonance stone crafting blueprint. Reputation 2 in Liyue will unlock the Geoculus resonance. These are very, very important because these are going to basically be an item that I assume is not going to be consumable. I would hope that you just craft it once and that's it. But the fact that it's a crafting recipe has me worried that we might have to continuously craft it, which would kind of suck. I don't think that you will because I think it's just on cooldown. But this is going to be a big game changer, dude. So for those of you that like exploring and don't want to end up using the interactive map that players have already made that show you quite literally where all of the Anemoculus are and stuff like that, this right here is going to be what the resonance items will do. So you can see you use the item and then it's on a cooldown and it's going to show this area. So right here is a paused image of it. It's going to show in this area whether or not there is an oculus nearby. So not as good as the interactive map, but for those that like just raw exploration, now you guys can go crazy, because once you get this item, it's really going to end up helping out, especially because of the way that the game is going to end up showing a percentage for all of the different zones in the game, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But there's going to end up, as they mentioned, being 2 separate resonants for each of the different regions, which means that as they add more regions to the game, we'll probably end up having to deal with this reputation system to get more, more resonance or whatever. So anyways, Oculus Resonance Stone have a cooldown timer of 300 seconds per use. The Anemoculus Resonance Stone is only used in mod stat, while the Geoculus one is only used in leeway. There's also going to end up being the Wind Catcher. So this single-handedly makes Venti way less useful, just because I like using Venti for exploration. There's going to be this item that'll give you an Air Gust, which is quite literally one of Venti's abilities, so he kind of becomes a little bit useless after this. That said, this is going to end up being on a cooldown. So when the Wind Catcher is equipped, Anemogramma, or Grandma, who cares, will automatically be stored in your Wind Catcher when you draw them near you. So that's going to end up being the little elemental Anemo things that you get from fighting enemies and stuff like that, as far as I know. But using the Wind Catcher creates a wind current at your current location. The wind current will disappear after a certain amount of time. So it's pretty handy to end up having that. After using the Wind Catcher to create wind, the gadget will have a 100-second cooldown, and the Wind Catcher cannot be used while in combat. So I guess that is different from Venti, so that he can end up still being useful. Then they're also going to be adding Condensed Resin. Now this is an interesting item, to say the least, because basically you will be able to, well, we'll just get into it. So how to use: at a crafting bench, consume 1 crystal core, 40 original resin, and 100 mora to create 1 condensed resin. Condensed resin can be used to revitalize leyline blossoms and petrified trees in domains that require 20 original resin, yielding 2 sets of rewards at one time. So basically, instead of farming leylines over and over again, you can end up using condensed resin to claim 2 times more of the reward from the leyline. I wonder if it's going to work on bosses and stuff, but I very much doubt that it will, because otherwise it would have to be like even more expensive. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It would be really nice if we could just end up getting double a boss's reward or something like that, right? But anyways, you can only have a maximum of 3 condensed resin at a time. They're still really shooting themselves in the foot with the resin system, aren't they? But anyways, let's continue on. So there's the NRE, menu 30. I don't know what that, but anyways, when NRE, menu 30, is equipped, you will be able to quickly consume food without opening your inventory. This gadget can hold 1 variety of HP recovery dish and 1 variety of revival dish. The menu 30, or NRE, will automatically offer the dish that best matches your party's situation at any given time. So basically it means that if a character dies, they'll just like heal right away. Or if you want to like eat food, you can just do that. Like, it's really handy. They show it right here. He presses Z and he just eats a consumable. So I guess the point is that it will automatically consume if it kills you. Or the food itself you have to manually trigger. I don't know, but when an HP in your character's yeah, so it literally says if a character falls in battle, it'll automatically switch from offering an HP dish to the revival dish. I guess it's not just going to instantly revive the character. I guess the point is the character will die, and then you'll just press the hotkey to end up rezzing the character rather than having to switch to it and end up consuming the item or whatever. So, you know, faster gameplay, a little bit more optimal, which is kind of nice. The food item is, I would wonder if it's on a timer, like a cooldown timer or not, but I don't know. And then this is going to be really cool. They're going to give us the Adepti Seeker's Stove. So quite literally a portable oven. It's going to be on a 300-second cooldown, which kind of sucks. So yeah, it also says that the Adepti Seeker's Stove will automatically disappear after the cooldown period is over. So unfortunately, I think that means that this is a consumable item, because you can see in the image as well that they seem to have a stack of 5 of them, which kind of sucks because depending on the crafting components, I would rather just spend a few seconds to fast travel to a place that I could end up cooking that I know is around, rather than wasting resources. I don't know. That's just me. Like, I thought that this was going to end up being a little bit more convenient when I first saw it. I was like, what? And then it's like, it's not that big a deal. But then again, I don't really eat that much food in the game anyways. Then there's going to be the portable waypoint. So this is kind of interesting. Kind of follows the same system where I think it's a consumable. But basically, the portable waypoint is quite literally going to end up being a fast travel point that you can place down. You can only place down one at a time. And it's going to last for 7 days before it disappears. As far as I know, that doesn't necessarily mean, like, only one can exist at a time, but you can still place one down and delete the other one. It's not like, oh, you already have one, you can't do it, you know? It has a 60-second cooldown, and creating a new waypoint will automatically destroy your last created waypoint. They put it better than I did, so there you go. But that's what it's going to end up looking like. Pretty cool. I guess that's going to be handy, especially when you are exploring the map for the first time. Because once you end up unlocking all of the fast travel points, I don't really see much of a purpose for this. But this is kind of like, this update in general seems to be them future-proofing the game. So while obviously it's going to end up having an impact on players right now, most of all new players, it means that they're going to get everything like this in place now, so that when they start adding more regions to the game that you can end up exploring, it's just going to end up being that much easier and a lot less daunting. Because I would have killed to end up putting down a fast travel point when I didn't have a fast travel point unlocked when I was first exploring the game. But now I've got so many fast travel points that I don't care, you know. Then there's also going to be an Anemo treasure compass and a Geo treasure compass. So this is going to end up being like the resonance, but for treasure chests. I don't know how direct this is going to be. Like, how far do you have to be? I don't know. It just says if there's no chest in the vicinity, the gadget will enter cooldown for 5 seconds after use. But if a chest is found, it will take 30 seconds after use. So I don't know how far this is going to search. I would hope that it's searching. Like, I hope that the area is huge, because honestly speaking, this just reminds me of a mechanic that is in Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima obviously was a little bit more forgiving to the player and literally would let you just mark an item on the map, and then it would kind of just push you in the vicinity of it. Whereas with this, just seems to be like it would be pretty hard to end up tracking down a chest that was in a region that you thought you already got everything in, if the area that it ends up showing is very small. However, there's going to end up being the zone percentage, like I mentioned, which we'll get into that in a bit. So this is going to end up being the mining outcrop search. So this sounds weird. After the feature is unlocked, talk to Wagner the blacksmith in Mondstadt or Master Zhang the blacksmith in Liyue. They will tell you where to find ore deposits in that region, and markers will appear on your map. You will be able to obtain crystal chunks from the ore deposits. After reaching adventure rank 30, you will also be able to mine magical crystal chunks. Ouch. So that's a new resource that we're going to get that hopefully is not going to cost resin to get or start the quest of or something. Hopefully it's just something we can continuously grind, giving us some more stuff to end up doing throughout the day that isn't just locked behind the resin system. I just don't like that they have the magical crystal chunks to it, because I'm assuming this is probably going to be a time-gated system that maybe you'll only be able to do once a day or something like that. And now they're adding a new resource that we don't even have a purpose of using just yet. So, yikes. But speaking of future-proof, this is nice because it means that you should, theoretically, if you can just do this over and over again, you should be able to unpin a lot of ore locations, because we're running out of pins fast and we only have 2 regions in the game. What's going to happen when we've got like all 7 of them? You're going to have like 2 pins on the ground and it's going to be like, oh, you've used them all. There's also going to be merchant discounts that you'll end up getting by having, you know, higher level with your reputation. Certain merchants will end up giving you discounts, which is kind of nice. There's going to be different name card styles. So these are just for vanity. It's just in your pause menu. I don't even know if other players can even see this. Maybe they can. There's going to be recipes that you can get. So certain food items you'll end up getting by having higher recipe or reputation level, I mean. And then the wings that we had mentioned earlier. So these are going to be the ones that we'll get from Mondstadt by having reputation level 8. And these are going to end up being the wings that we'll get for Liyue level 8. So cool that they're giving us more wings. More wings, the better. Now, most important of all, this is the you know, this is the icing on the cake. This is the part that I was most interested in, is the exploration progress system. So zoom out on the map to view the exploration progress for each area, which I keep calling zones. So open chests, found elemental oculus, and unlocked waypoints, and also other exploration activities will increase the percentage for each area. So you can kind of see by Starfell Valley, they have exploration progress 87 or 89%. So that means that in this region, you know that you are missing some stuff. So this, combined with everything that they ended up just saying 2 seconds ago that they're going to give us, is really going to end up adding up to the exploration of the game. It's really going to end up making it a lot easier to find all of the chests and to narrow down the area that you may or may not be missing some oculi, right? So that's really, really handy. They're also adding an archive system. So this, as far as I can tell, is just a codex, where they show in the image down here them going into the equipment menu. As far as I can tell, this is quite literally just showing every piece of gear in the game, either that you've found and unlocked, or just whatever, you know. The point is that this is going to end up showing you all of the stats and all of the abilities of each of these pieces of equipment. So it's just a codex so that the game can keep track of all this stuff, and then the player can theoretically keep track of all these too. Because maybe you have a sword that's really, really good for one character, but you end up consuming it or destroying it. Well, that's where the codex will come into play, because then you can end up looking at the item and finding out where you can actually farm for it and stuff like that, right? It's also going to apply to materials. So split into Tefat's resources is going to be food, potion items, utility items. In the materials archive, you can find entries for resources unique to each region of Tefat, including cooking, ingredients, food, potion, material, enhancement items, leveling up items, and stuff like that. So this is going to be really, really helpful going forward, because there's a lot of items that are currently in the game that you might only be able to look at based on a contextual situation. So, for example, I can only end up finding what ascension materials I need for a weapon when I can ascend that weapon, and then I can end up looking and finding out where that item is located. So with this, you would be able to just see where all items are located at all times. Not necessarily relating to, like, I don't think it's going to say, like, this item levels up these weapons. If it did, that would be very nice. There's also going to be geography. So this is something that's being added to the game, which is kind of interesting. So interact with viewpoints located in areas marked as undiscovered to add them to the geography archive. So we can literally just go onto buildings and stuff, and then it's going to end up giving us a very nice scenic view. So that's pretty cool, just because I like the exploration and I like taking screenshots in the game in general, right? And then it gives some lore towards that area and the context. So it's interesting and cool. The books are also going to be thrown into this category. So apparently it's saying that it allows you to read all the books you've collected so far, and additionally some previously collected books will be removed from your inventory and transferred into the archive. So I guess they're just getting rid of the category where books are in your inventory or something. I don't know. I like that though. I like when they optimize inventory and everything like that. Then also, you know, when you're starting out the game and the game throws you like tons of tutorials and maybe you ended up accidentally skipping through it and not realizing what it said? Well, there's going to be a codex or archive category for that, where the game is literally going to show you pretty much everything that you need to know about the game, thus technically making the tutorial that I mentioned about Genshin Impact that I'm working on obsolete. But only if you end up going through rows and rows of text. You know, obviously there's still going to be a purpose for videos. And then there's also going to be an archive system for characters. Yikes. So you'll get to see, you know, a bunch of different characters and abilities and stuff like that. So in the character archive, you can check when exactly each character joined your team, select details button for more information on attributes, constellations, profile of a selected character, and stuff like that. I guess it's just again, future proofing. When the game has like 200 different characters or something, it's going to really pay that we have this system in place, right? So the archive also allows you to sort through characters. So you can see right here that you can sort cryo and bow. So you can go for weapon types and junk like that, and just really, really handy stuff. So yeah, anyways, that is kind of a sneak peek that we ended up getting on a forum post for version 1.1. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the entire change log, but at least we got a nice hint of, well, more than a hint. We got to actually see some of this stuff because we kind of knew a lot of these items were coming to the game anyways, because people ended up translating the China server where they ended up showing a lot of this stuff a lot earlier. But it's nice to see how they're going to be executed. More particularly, we knew that there was a radar for oculi coming into the game, so now we actually know how it works. So that's going to be really cool. Anyways, thanks for watching, gamers. The next big update for the game is going to end up being in December, where it's going to be actually adding a new region to explore, or not a new region, but just kind of a snowy mountain. So that'll be cool. But I'm really excited to see what else version 1.1 has. I mean, if this video is already this long just to end up going through this, like, I guess at least when version 1.1 comes out, if I end up doing a patch notes video, I won't have to cover any of this stuff because we've already covered it here. Yeah. Thanks for watching, though, gamers. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want, support the channel, and have a great day. Sign on and stay epic.